Hey y'all, Brother Zegos here. It's been a little bit, and life obviously has its ups and downs, as I'm sure we're all having out there. Here where I'm at in Portland, Oregon, actually in a spot not far from my residence that is kind of its own little wilderness area in the middle of the, very, industrial area. And it's funny, I've been coming here, for this whole year, pretty much, 2020, because I moved into the neighborhood, basically. And so I found this spot, and kind of interesting, crazy things I've seen here, like a lot of like animal death. Found a deer that was basically ripped open by a bunch of coyotes, and it just happened. Their blood was fresh. It was like snout was pointing straight up in the air, a doe, and it was just got its entrails ripped out, its crotch area, basically. And it was very disturbing to see that, to come upon that, in such a peaceful area, but just kind of see, how brutal nature is. And I didn't even see the act, I just saw like the immediate aftermath of this killing. And just got, it's really coming close to like that, because I never was into hunting or killing things in general. I mean, spiders and ants and stuff when I was younger, but even that, I'm like, I kind of try to avoid that. Fruit flies, yes, but but it just comes to make you realize, there's a real separation between man and beast, and at least there should be a separation between man and beast, because you can say all you want that humans are a cancer on the earth, and that we're horrible and we just destroy our environments, and yeah, a lot of ways that's true, but we're also holding basically a different space than nature, the wild, let's say, in which we're using the power of our minds, the higher mind, as we stand up like antennas to the heavens, to like basically have that wisdom shine down upon us. And we can respect nature and see that it's brutal, and use it, and sometimes you combat it, because that's what you have to do to survive as a human being. Feed off of it as needed, and prosper. But I guess the point is seeing when the toxicity is just getting too much, and then you turn back to a beast again, basically, because then everyone starts fighting over everything because they're all sick. So anyways, yeah, we have a responsibility as human beings to use our minds, to use our higher minds and logic and truth. Like, you can say all you want, truth is a concept, but it's a pretty accurate one. It's like our minds can trick us, things can be deceiving, but there is such a thing as truth. I know how much this intersectional, postmodern, critical theory shit is, critical race theory, if you will. I mean, it just wants to tear out that idea that, everything's just chaos and can be anything, and it's not, and words just create a reality, which is like, no, words describe reality and then are used back against our minds when we're not thinking. Turns us back into the bestial mode of living. And it turns violent eventually. So, I know, yeah, it's life is, it's like there's no guarantee the same thing isn't going to happen to you as a human being. What happened to the deer over there? I'm just saying, it's not a world I want to live in. But if we don't hold it together, if we don't hold up the higher mind and believe in truth and not believe the lies, like deceiving ourselves into believing in a lie because we're afraid, or you don't, or you're I mean, even if you're not afraid of the lie or the authority, you're afraid of the social shaming, right? And then you just run around like a scared little mouse, you know who's gonna get you? The cat's gonna get you. If you're not willing to stand up for your rights and just like go in your little hole, it's no way to live. That's not what human beings do. We debate things, we challenge it. People think everyone has to just agree with their opinion, which is the one given to them by the government, basically. The state gives you the opinion to have, and you have to have that one. And if you don't, shame, shame, shame. Woman just chanted that to me in the checkout line last time I went to go grocery shopping. Yep. Wasn't wearing a mask. And I hadn't worn one this whole time, except I have worn them, but not shopping for groceries. Except for once I put a bandana around me to check it early on, and I was figured out this certain store I could shop at without even having anything. So I just played that out the whole, for months and months, just going there and shopping there like once a week or once every 2 weeks, just loading up on groceries, running out of fresh vegetables a lot was a problem with that. But yeah, so I was going there like, basically 6 months sans mask, and I had a feeling that like the pressure's building about the mask thing, especially in Oregon or wherever, what other democratically controlled state you live in, the mask of shame. But so I was just pushing it as far as I could to see where it would get to this point, and I got to it. So basically I got stopped while I was checking out by I didn't get stopped. The checker told me, hey, you have to have a mask now. And I'm like, well, what, since when? And she's like, oh, OSHA came in and we're gonna get shut down if like we have to like comply now and force everyone to wear one, whether they have a medical exemption or not, which I have, because I gave it to myself. I gave myself a medical exemption because I can tell that I can't breathe when I have a mask on. So I, as a sovereign individual, is my authority over my exemption from the mask, because it's contrary to my health. I know that. If you don't know that, then that's your problem. You can wear a mask. But so she could have, I could have just said, all right, well, let me just check out, and finish checking out, and I'll just deal with that the next time I come out. I'll wear a face shield or whatever that I have. And so we could have just left it at that. I was almost done checking out, but then not one, but two managers come up to me and start telling me that they would never have let me in if they'd seen me, if I hadn't crept in without a mask and all this stuff. And yeah, okay, whatever. Then some lady comes up and starts screaming at me and crying. I can just see her eyes just glaring. Just all I see is these eyes crying at me and screaming at me how I'm a selfish asshole, and I should be ashamed, like what you're doing. It's just totally nuts. And then right when that lady's yelling at me, someone starts chanting shame, 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 shame. I don't know. Actually, the managers might have walked around right then, or the second one did. But it was funny. The managers coming up just brought more attention to it, and then it just made it that more like a nightmare. It was hilarious, though. It really was. When the woman started chanting shame, the other woman's screaming and crying, and then the managers were there like, boo, boo, boo. It was like, whoa, where am I? It's like Twilight Zone. Anyways, one of the managers comes up with one of those really cheap blue medical masks hanging off his pinky. And he's like, we need you to put this on or we're not letting you leave without paying. It's like, And it's like, no, I'm not putting that on my face. There's no way. And he's like, well, and then he goes back and he gets the face shield that they have that like foam thing wraps around your head. And I'm like, dude, all right. And I'm like, I guess I got to go out to my car. And luckily I did have a face shield in my car with glasses hooked to it, so I can just put it on and off. And I recommend if you have to get anything, you just get that because you can breathe better and you can take it off very easily. And I would recommend anyone get the glasses face shield, search it on Amazon, since we have to live in this fucking world the way it is, totally insane. So anyways, I go out in my car and I get the glasses. And I finished checking out. Oh, problem solved. But when I came back in, the woman who was chanting shame at me gave me the thumbs down, and I just gave her the thumbs down right back because I'm like, fuck you. Yeah, my judgment on you, bitch. Psychopath. Just fucking are ashamed of yourself, and you're just projecting it on everyone because you're weak. Because we're celebrating weakness right now. It's like people are so dumb they don't realize we're being played by the fucking NWO that they're, it's just like so fucking, they're playing the weakness of people. So now like the weakest people have power now. The weakest people, the people scared, wearing their masks, going to the, taking pictures of people, and probably all are the contact tracers. They're probably like, who knows how many people out there, like, it's getting paid to do this shit and take pictures of people and report them on the internet and all kinds of shit. Like, this is the world we're living in. It's totally like 1984, it's totally Orwellian. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's kind of like the brown shirts or something, but they're all weaklings now. And they just chant shame at you and just like go insane and like start throwing fireworks around and punching people, like, breaking windows. Oh, it's just like lashing around like a fucking psychopath. I mean, who are they? Like, this is seriously sick, We're in a sick state. This is what happens when you let weak people lead us. And the weak people are? They're Gretchen Whitmer. They're Gavin Newsom. They're Kate Brown. These are the weak people, that Garcetti mayor, Ted Wheeler. This is why we got weak people to lead us. They're total like scumbags. They're weak. They act like they're so virtuous, like virtue signaling till the end of the fucking decade. It's like, it's a total joke. I mean, they're the weakest, saddest, most corrupt people. But I think in their own minds, they really do think that they're like doing not doing Satan's work. They're like important. People should respect them just because they're a politician. Like, it's like the most hated group of people, next to like big pharma, more or less. So anyways, I had to succumb finally to the face mask. I mean, I think I did pretty good. Pretty happy with my run. But it's just like, I don't know, I guess in a way I'm relieved because I'm relieved because now I don't have to have a panic attack worrying about, is this going to be the one where someone freaks out at me. And now, I mean, it wasn't that bad. It was kind of hilarious. I mean, I was kind of mad afterwards, but it's kind of laugh at it. It was like, whoa, this is life. Hilarious, man. Ooh, people are that dumb, that foolish, that weak. But yeah, it's crazy time because, as long as it's the same time when everything's falling around me and like I'm having to confront these like societal issues that I never expected I was gonna have to deal with. Like, who would have ever guessed the face mask thing would catch hold? People would be so, just complicit with the shit, Who knew? I didn't know. I thought people were a little more free willing, maybe like because that's the way I am. But even in these times, it's like, I mean, I've ended up, partnering up with somebody, and that's, it's good. It's like, wow, this is like my life just converging in this point. Um, I think I deserve it, really. And I think, we all do, as long as we don't be a scumbag. I think the idea of karma is a good thing. You just have to really listen to your truth and the truth. You have to listen to the truth, not your truth. Just listen to the truth, which is that the world is not what they tell us it is, because they're liars. The people that control the fucking media and all your information and all your money. They control all your money, all your work. And if you just fearfully cower to those people and do not push for your rights, then they're just going to take advantage of that. In fact, they will not just take advantage of, they will trick you into turning against yourself, because they're that good at what they do. Satan, if you want to say, Saturn, it's kind of it's like maybe this is the great calling. It's like those who choose not to wear the mask and not to comply and not to get their vaccine and claim their sovereignty and their right to life and towards good and truth, and actually people that stand up for reality and not letting everything fall apart. That's that's who we need. People like that, leaders that will not let things fall apart. They actually care about truth. But what I was saying, sorry, is Saturn, Satan, whatever. It's just this idea of it's filtering out, a lot of the rubbish, the people that won't stand up for themselves. And I'm just saying this as people in general. And it's sad that I have to say this, and it has nothing to do with race, religion, creed, color, class, anything. It has to do with, are you not brave enough? Because all it takes is bravery, because everyone knows what the truth is. They're just lying to themselves. They're just lying to themselves. They know they're lying to themselves, but they can't face the truth that they have to deal with if they stop lying to themselves. So if that's the price that they're willing to pay just to to stay alive, you're probably not going to be able to stay alive very long, because you can't base life off of a lie. I mean, you can manipulate a bunch of people if you do that, but it's going to crumble pretty quick once the dominoes get stacked too high, that what have you. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I'm optimistic, for the future. I am. I mean, we'll see what happens with the election and everything. But, I mean, it's going to be crazy. I think the whole rest of 2020 is going to be nuts. And I'm surprised that, I guess it is kind of nuts now, but it's crazy. Anyways, I'll keep it there for now. I just wanted to check in for anyone who might be watching. Probably not that many people. But yeah, life's interesting. It's it's good. You just, I'm really grateful, and I pray every morning. It's good. It takes crisis to kind of bring out, humble you for those spiritual people out here, and those truthful people who know that what we're in is God's creation, and what that is vast and infinite, but there's consciousness that goes into that, it's God. There is an intentionality within life and within what we're doing here. And if we just humble ourselves to speak to that truth, to that higher being, that higher consciousness, because we are as gods, because we have the ability to connect to it on a level separate than what way animals do, because of the intellect. We do have that gift as humans, and we use it in beautiful and hurtful ways and damaging ways. But the trick is to do it in a way that is least damaging, and that means controlling yourself and controlling your desires and building a beautiful world that's is a little bit dangerous, but also because you have self-accountability, But I think that's what we can do, if just enough people will just push back against, you know, the mandates and the decrees to some degree at least, and just then we can, like, I mean, we'll have to see what happens with the election, but I mean, who even knows? I mean, I don't really think Donald Trump's going to turn on his base, because there's no way he can do that, because let's just face it, most people that like Donald Trump are like honest with themselves about the masks, at least for one thing. So, but we'll see. It's just like you have to, and more and more people, even if they're complying because they have to still talk about it with everybody, and you know, and no one has to. You don't have to agree with everyone. And if someone doesn't agree with you, and they decide they're not your friend because of you're speaking your truth, then they're not your friend. And it doesn't matter. It's like, move on. You find new friends. We'll all find new friends. We'll find each other. You know, if you're resonating with what I'm saying, you know, we'll find each other in some way or another, because, you know, you spot the good people, because they aren't wearing masks. You spot the brave people. So, yeah. But anyways, I think I'll end it there for today. That is funny. There was one last thing. I remember when I had that big ordeal at the grocers, natural grocers. I bet there's video of it out there somewhere. That girl that was chanting shame at me probably videoed it. It's probably up on her TikTok or something, or whatever. But the woman who was crying and screaming at me that I should be ashamed that was a different woman, the one that was chanting. And then by the time I went out and got talked to the managers, and then went out and got the face shield glasses, another checker came up and he's like, "Hey man, I'm sorry, I agree with you. We don't want to do this. I'm with you on this one. Oh man, they're just making us do it. They're gonna shut us down if we don't do it." And I was like, "Yeah, oh well, I guess, I don't know." And then he goes and starts checking the same woman out who was crying at me. And then she starts saying, because she came around in the line or something, and then she starts saying, "Children are dying. Some children are born with things they cannot control. How can you agree with him?" Because she was mad at him just for agreeing with me, and then then he got all in trouble. It was like, and she's just crying. It's just like so pathetic. It's like these weakest, dumbest people have been given power, and it's just, we can't let these people lead us. We can't let them have control. Can't happen. It's not gonna happen. Anyways, should probably get going. And I love y'all, whoever you are, even though I've never met you. I'm sure I would love you in some way or another, in spirit even though I got a girlfriend now. Anyways, have a good one. Hope to talk to you again soon. Brother Gyzos. That's funny. Brother Zygos signing out.